So we're going to talk today about the lost sheep. This is in part of the Bible where Jesus is telling parables, telling stories to people asking questions. And this is one of three stories which talks about something being lost. There's the lost sheep, there's the lost coin, and then there's the lost son. And they all kind of tell the same story about something that has value that we're always going to chase after. We're always going to look for it. If you think that in the parable of the lost coin, a lady's got 10 coins and she loses one. And if we put money in our pocket and we suddenly notice there's a hole in our pocket and we've lost something, we don't just say, okay, we've got 9 coins, we're happy. We look for the other coin, don't we? Especially at the moment, because we all need as many coins as we can get. But in the lost sheep, a sheep's gone missing. The shepherd's got 100 sheep and one's gone missing. And not many of you know this, but my younger brother Jonathan, when my family lived in Coventry, they moved up to Yorkshire because they wanted to go and live in the countryside near the beach. And so they moved to Yorkshire. And my younger brother left Foxford School and moved to Yorkshire and went and helped a farmer. And after a couple of years, he said, I really, really want to have my own sheep and look after my own sheep. So he found a piece of land which had a fence and hedges and things all the way around it, and he got some sheep. And he spent most of his time not feeding the sheep, not getting rid of the sheep's wool. He spent most of his time looking for sheep that were lost. Because if you don't know, if you've ever seen sheep are stupid. If sheep can find... Sorry, Barbara, close your ears. If you don't know, Barbara looks after sheep. But sheep are stupid, aren't they, Barbara? If they find a hole, they'll stick their head in it. If they have a hedge, they'll get stuck in it. And if there's a kind of valley, they'll roll over upside down in it. So it's really important that we look after the sheep. For the shepherd, every one of those sheep is like one of those coins. It's money. And so it's really, really important for him that we look after the sheep. And so my brother used to spend a lot of time looking after sheep. And he would spend all his time finding the ones that were lost. And a lot of the time they were pulled out of a hedge or pulled out of a hole, and he would look after the sheep. And that's what Jesus is trying to say in this story, is that he says he would rather worry about the one person that doesn't know God than 99 people that do know God, because they're already safe. But the one person that doesn't know God, or maybe hasn't invited God into his heart, or her heart, is the one Jesus is worried about. And it's the same as the lost coin. And in the parable of the lost son, the son decides to go off. He doesn't want to know his dad anymore. And he asks his dad for all of his inheritance, all his money he's going to get. And he disappears off. And then it all goes wrong for him. But what he doesn't realise is his dad's looking for him. His dad's standing on the top of the hill. And when the son realises he's got it really, really wrong, and he's lost, he turns around and goes back to his dad. But his dad is already looking for him. And like in the story of the sheep, the shepherd is looking for the sheep. In the coin, the woman is looking for the lost coin. And in the lost son, the father is looking for the son. All of these stories, Jesus is saying that if you don't know Jesus, if you don't know God in your heart, God's still looking for you. God still loves you. God still wants to have a relationship with you. And all you have to do is let him find you. And that's your response to it. Sometimes people go, well, I'm too naughty for God to love me. God loves everybody equally. There's an amazing... You may have seen at sports matches or at concerts, sometimes people hold up signs that say John 3:16. Yeah, you've seen those? And that is the most famous verse in the Bible that says, for God so loved the world, not the planet, the people on it, that he sent his one and only son so that we may have a relationship with him, so that he can take away all of our bad stuff and that we can live with him in the knowledge that if we're part of Jesus' family, then we will be in heaven after we die. And so Jesus promises that he will look for us. He will keep looking. Even if we turn our back on him, even if we don't want to know him at the moment, Jesus is still there. All we have to do is turn round and see Jesus and accept him. And we say a simple prayer. Say, Jesus, I'm really sorry for what I've done wrong. Please take away all of that bad stuff. Come and live in my heart forever. And that's all we have to do. And so I just want to encourage you today that as you leave here, maybe have a think about, are you the lost sheep? Are you the lost coin? Are you the lost son or daughter? The lost sheep had value, and that's why the shepherd looked for it. The lost coin had value, and that's why the woman looked for it. And the lost son had value, because we all know our kids are priceless. They're the most important things in our life. And that's why the father looked for the son. And to Jesus, we are so priceless that if we don't know him, if we don't accept him in our hearts, he will still look for us. And all we have to do is come to him and say, dear Lord, just be in my heart. Take away all the things I do wrong and help me walk with you. Brilliant. Now, some of you remembering, hang on, Darren, you were going to get revenge on Sarah and on John. That's going to come in a minute, because I knew you wouldn't be able to focus if I did it first. Okay? So we're going to have some pudding first, and then we're going to have an activity to get a little bit of revenge on John and Sarah. Is that all right? It's not that bad, I promise, Sarah. So some of you were here last month, and you'll remember that I became a human pizza. I'm not a pizza today, but I've still got tomato damn shirt. And some of you thought I should seek revenge. For the last month, I don't know if John's aware of this, but for the last month Sarah's been going, it wasn't me, it was John. Love for you. And so we wanted to think of something that would kind of be an example of what we've talked about today. So we talked about lost sheep. And so this activity, has anybody ever watched Taskmaster? That says it all. Taskmaster is quite inappropriate, so I'm not recommending it. But they do some great activities, some great kind of things that they have to do a task. And so I thought we'd make a task today. It's a one-person task. Do you want to come and put your safety gear on? I'm taking your glasses off. It's really not going to be that bad. You might want that, and you might want to put that on back to front. Yeah. Just because it looks funnier on the video when we do it. Right, lift that off that way. Yes, that's what I don't have to deal with the insurance claim later. And then that, just can you pop that over there for me on that table? Because I can't reach and I don't want to get dirty. Right, so we pull that out of the way. Welcome to Taskmaster, Sarah. Thank you for being part of this. This is your task. Would you like to sit down and read it to the room?
Find the sheep. I can't do it. Once you have entered the Taskmaster box, you may not leave until the end of the task. You will have 60 seconds to find the sheep. If after 45 seconds you haven't found the sheep, you may swap with John. John will then have a further 45 seconds to find the sheep. If you fail to find the sheep, you will face the pie. However, if you have swapped with John and he fails to find the sheep, he will face the pie. Okay.
Do you understand what you've got to do?
Find sheep.
So inside this box,
Yeah.
somewhere, you've got to find the sheep. So you cannot leave the box. No one can enter the box. No one can enter the box, you can't leave the box.
Okay.
You've got a minute from time I turn my phone away from you. So, you ready?
Okay.
1 minute starting now.
There's frogs and all sorts. One of these is sheep. Oh no. Yeah, the sheep's white.
10 seconds.
Oh, this is good.
Not all sheep are white. Especially when they've been sprayed.
Sarah, you had a club not to do that.
I think I can resist. 25 seconds. Are you inside the box? No. 35 seconds. 40 seconds. You can't ask for help, it's not on the card. Right. Right, I'm going to pause there. Stop. We're at 45 seconds. You have the choice. Do you swap with John and he gets 45 seconds from now? Or do you want your last 15 seconds? Just before we move forward, somebody has watched Taskmaster and we're smiling here. What sometimes happens on Taskmaster?
You both get it.
Okay, that wasn't what I was looking for, but there you go. You must have watched a different episode to me. Sometimes it's not always quite as clear as you think, is it?
No.
Okay, just a little clue. Do you want to swap for 45 seconds and row later, or do you want to carry on for 15? It's coming. No, Barbara's fine.
Barbara's enjoying it.
You can have 45 seconds doing this.
You are the sheep, Sarah.
I wouldn't bother about the protective clothing. I've seen the front of his shirt.
You're the lost sheep. You're the lost sheep.
No, you're not the lost sheep.
Oh, so she's not lost sheep.
There you go.
Right, inside the boxer. Let me reset my phone. So based on the mess your wife has made,
you what I'm doing, looking for a sheep.
you're looking for a sheep. You've got 45 seconds, starting now.
Try thinking outside the box.
So you're not allowed outside the box.
Is the sheep in the pie?
No,
Sarah, can you have a look in the pie?
Sarah's not allowed to touch the pie.
Oh,
Is he allowed to touch the
am I allowed to? As long as I don't leave the box.
You've got to use your face. That's just cheating.
It's not using his initiative.
Somewhere in there, I can see.
I wonder if it's on the other side of that big
He's found the sheep. Pause. He's found the sheep. That's going to ruin it, hasn't it? So now he gets to choose whether he pies Sarah or not. So if you look at the table says it's going to be a close shave, which hence the shaving foam. And that's, so you would have found it a lot quicker if you'd have looked better, but you panicked, didn't you? Whereas your husband just took his time. He took 15 seconds. No, you made the mess. You made the mess. So, so you get a choice. You can either pie your wife in the face with the protective thing on the face, or you can accept the pie yourself. The choice is yours.
Given that she's allergic to the pie.
Yeah, let's not do that. Let's not do that. Hence the protective clothing. So that
Maybe in trouble.
yeah.
He'll start wiping it all over himself.
Yeah, just clean the
Chef's
shirt.
jacket, that's what it's for.
So the whole point is that actually sometimes our life is a mess and we are completely lost. But actually Jesus will still look for us. We could be lost in a hedge or in a pile of shaving foam. Jesus will still look for us. And so however you're feeling right now, if you feel as you leave this place you're not leaving with Jesus and actually that you think your life would be better with Jesus, because it would, then come and see somebody. Come and see Sarah or me or John and just talk to us, and we'd love to pray with you, and you can just see the difference that Jesus makes in your life. Jesus doesn't make it easier. He doesn't pretend that all the troubles are going to go away, but he does promise that he will be with you and walk with you through it all. John, thank you. Sarah, thank you. See, it wasn't as bad as you thought, was it?